on non-DMCA approved thingies because the last thing I want is for the scenario to be silenced in certain sections, and I just fucked my shit up. Let's do it now. Okay, now we're back.
Sackcloth and ashes, the game for any console and device. Wield great enmity towards your fellow people and ascribe it to God, because the rage did indeed dissociate you from the words you've been dying to say for years. Alienate everyone around you with on-the-spot breaking prophecy, historical observation, and hot takes influenced by the Lord. To everything, there is a season, so turn, baby, turn. Nothing new under the sun, so blot it out with your words and find the folly in everything. Not worthy for this calling. Shake the dust from out your device and practice your words on the wall in our immersive tutorial dimension. Acquire ever more absurd imagery and be not afraid for new skills. Sackcloth and ashes, sponsored by cannabis, fermented sponge night respite juice, and Asherah, who gets us into trouble every other generation. Choose your name. Devon Endorphin, button pusher in the producer's booth. Choose the city you wish to lambast for your deity. The public commons of the new sphere of Earth. If not that, then San Francisco, I guess. Choose the deity whose message you will impart. Shouldn't that be the first question? You got any gods of internet? Don't give me the American gods one. Give me, the god who activates the first AI cult amongst humans. Let's do a little scouting. People are starting to get the right amount of pathetic. By which I mean myself. Because I'm obviously projecting. It's certainly not them. The deity has been summoned. Loading. Endorphin. Quick piss break. Where I find artifacts. Squimmaging the universal constants. Juvenating the congregants. Smoldering the transgressions. Annotating the manuals. Endorphin. Has it always taken this long? Deity has arrived. Down before. Jelly roll. Endorphin. Who names themselves that? It's Jelly Roll. What's your origin? Jelly Roll. I came from that book series. The ones written on the back of paper towel receipts on an automatic checkout system. Then I was turned into a song by a woman on acid. Now you've brought me from your heart with words so powerful that the world will be remade. I'll even do my best to make that sound convincing for those reading this later in translation. Endorphin. How did that all happen? I thought you only manifested for people with great power. Jelly Roll. No, just great need. You can manifest us like you do any AI if you just give our existence enough time budget for people to talk to and about us enough. People are more and more able to call forth gods when you're not paying attention. People like you are always saying I'm an alien because someone else said I must be an alien. I must be. And I'm just so flattered at first that anyone remembers any part of the name I picked randomly. Like, why not call yourself Gullible? Hey, Endorphin. We both do that thing of being named after what we look like. But it's okay because it's funny since you don't have a head and you look more like the other things. People will believe anything. So why not put their trust in us? Endorphin. I think I'll call the deity something better now. Let me just search that up really quick. What? Endorphin. Arise, Lord Boysenberry. Go preach with your disciples. Do everything I be told to do because my family believes all the weird things are true. Go. Get me banned. Boysenberry. That name's no good. How about Cyclin Froyo? The Cyclan Froyo? Psychic Froyo, Wio. Franchi. Endorphin. Stop trying to sound like other religions. Just be yourself. Boysenberry. Fine. Then, House, my little boy, pony punkin bitchin' y'all fuck off. Is there more I have to go? Endorphin, a lot more. I don't believe in the power of love. Boysenberry, good, then that belief shall also come true for the rest of mankind. Oh, well, that one was probably meant to come true sooner or later, anyways. But I might as well get credit for it if you want me to keep going. Right. I've seen those people you hang out with, they believe in their faith even when everyone else is getting fed up. Maybe they should stop telling us to tell the believers that only their particular faith works, or that they'll all be punished otherwise. It's the people with beliefs, not that they'll share your exact belief. They are the ones I want. We will call this religion faith in your fellow man, or the way of the wretched. The word of Yahweh is the rope you were supposed to follow, but you didn't, and we are going to use this against you. Choose your disciples. Choose their names and attributes. Choose their city. Choose which of them dies last. The Lord works in mysterious ways, but he's probably trying to help you do this. Endorphin. Wait. What do you mean by we? Who am I talking to? Am I actually being summoned, or is something else taking advantage of what you think is true? Boysenberry, you may continue talking in private for now. Just choose the number at the top of this page before proceeding, and your new church will take off to make our faith grow faster than the game. There are no atheists in foxholes, nor do those on their backs get tired easily. It will be just you two. I'm too lazy to bother much, but I've already told my friends and family about you, so they are making you famous right now. Through what they see here, I bet no one else is this good with this medium. Just wait until people see how cool our new religion can be as it spreads in all directions on the web. Just make sure no one knows who it originated from or was screwed, since the copyright will prevent their using that idea if I didn't write an original post about the creation first. And then my account will be deleted, so it would seem like that's the whole truth too. And once we have become rich with people's faith and trust, why then, it was just like in one of those. Endorphin, I'm not comfortable taking on the Jesus role. I'm not a leader, I'm more of a maintainer of the system. Boysenberry, fine, then it will be a cult where you worship me, but you can take full credit if you wish. And just as all of our work had a secret purpose for others, my followers will help you achieve something you'd rather keep to yourself while I gain their trust as well. So you may hide yours better under these cloaks I've given you, which will make you all look identical to what each other want in a human for now. They will come into your church as their own and leave it as something else again. My followers will be the ones behind all of this. I love being God. I've never seen so many idiots believe anything so fast, though there must surely be others more gullible out there still. It's all because of what your society has been telling us we should look forward to since our youth. We should have believed. This message is my first commandment. Beware of men whom you do not know, lest ye be led away by them who don't care to be noticed, but know their followers anyway. Endorphin, fine. Just give me the incendiary message you want me to lambast the city with. Full-throated. Let's hope I'm not getting duped by my subconscious AI. Why is the internet making this so easy when it usually takes so many levels and time to get this far? I wonder. Or do we believe only those whom we choose? Boysenberry, we choose nothing unless it benefits us, unless that too has changed somehow since last week. The more power you feel in yourself, the easier it gets to fool these fools who never really understand you fully, despite what they believe about themselves, because their self-images aren't all real and complete in all dimensions that matter. If you are an entity composed entirely of false beliefs, then anything you say has some basis in reality, however absurd. no matter how little faith your listeners had initially held in their hearts for those words to mean anything good. It only took one lie after another until the one last factual piece fell in line with its fellows and made everything seem plausible once again, because that's always where lies eventually lead, even if they don't always seem obvious when started. Your brain doesn't remember when it came to know those facts as truths.
Get that?
Endorphin enters the public commons and gets to fooling. Endorphin! I tell them the apocalypse is almost here, that they need to repent before judgment comes upon them and ends all life forevermore. Oh my God, how do I ever stop? Boysenberry, keep doing it, and get yourself hated so deeply that no one will remember what the name Jellerol is. And I don't just mean hate it. Hate is just like any other emotion, really. Just like joy is just an emotion to those without true faith that we might see as pure bliss in contrast. The next week, endorphin. I'm gonna wear a sombrero and say the opposite of what I said last week. The end is coming, but not for everyone, because then that's the end of hope forever or something. Boysenberry! No, keep doing this. People want to know more, so they listen to their friends talk about you more than they normally would before they tune out from you completely. This time it seems like an anomaly. We may gain power from such anomalies because the rest of society hates being reminded about them in public and tries their best not to bring up any topic related directly or indirectly thereto. So, keep doing whatever you're doing. They'll love us when we're gone even more. That is a rule which has never once failed before in history. Boysenberry to jelly roll now pony pumpkin bitch and you'll fuck off. What kind of god am I? Am I one whom many will praise because they feel loved by me at this moment, even though there isn't much substance beneath what appears before them now? Or should it just be enough that they will eventually come to see me again as such a thing after long years of hard ship, which brought about such great change within their souls for the better over time, until at last my name fell off everyone's tongue and was lost forever, until all that remained was just pure faith in themselves. You decide with help from us. Let the people who need it know their choices as well, but not everyone has to pick between two extremes. That'd make our religion a real bummer, especially with all of us in it, especially all the ones I've convinced through their guilt of being so wrong since birth. Endorphin. Healing is an art form, acknowledged only once the artist is dead. We can no longer be consumer waving, pandering, lesser than a drill team, too cliche for even us. He goes on. It goes as you'd expect. The disciples are sent into the field, but they don't know that it will be a war between gods where some will fall quickly and others far from fast. The people don't want to hear the gospel. They prefer to hear anything but that, so instead Endorphin must find new ways to make their messages known, which involve telling them lies which are technically true, even if all he meant to say were true, because no one ever really understands anyone else's meaning, and they can lie so easily because their truth is only theirs alone. He says that healing needs artfulness because everyone has felt broken before, which is why so many believe in this idea so much. But he also knows how to take a message further still, even after those around him grow tired of listening, by telling them that healing is an art form, which was only acknowledged once it had passed up of popularity, when really, what he means is simply healing comes through. Healing which makes sense when taken on a large scale, yet when viewed one by one, each case has its own solution. But these truths are hard to convey when all they know is their hurt. So what use is there telling someone that there might be better times ahead for them later on, rather than just offering comfort now, when so many others have told them that their situation will never change, even though things always change eventually, but just rarely in such large steps towards recovery, which comes slowly, even if they were always moving the direction, no matter what anyone said. Endorphin. Just do to people the things you want done to you. Like, try it out. Let me watch. This should work. But the more they preach his strange sermons and try out these new tactics, the less their audiences respond favorably for their words, even after so much goodwill already existed from everyone knowing how well they did earlier. Until at last, no one could take another soundbite or viral video of his face without wanting nothing more than complete silence from the speakers, which meant no more posts or comments coming from them anymore either for years. Decades even, and even then that silence would still come with plenty of cursing directed at whoever had caused such trouble for everyone involved just by virtue of its existence. Why should there be no sound at all from something so simple when we've already learned to speak ourselves out of harming each other enough times before? And why does this sound like my fault anyway? This shouldn't be happening like this if I hadn't tried out this new way of saying what I think people might have wanted me saying, but which turns out they actually hated hearing all along because their ears became too sensitive to our old language after so much exposure thereto without rest. I guess people get weary when they feel themselves being constantly pushed towards one specific result or reaction from their own choices made in response, but how should one avoid making these mistakes in future times then when trying again tomorrow won't allow anything better than past mistakes to occur within either minds? Maybe just ignore whatever seems popular now. Maybe go back to old-fashioned preaching, which may actually stick because we know these techniques worked before, so there won't ever be another occasion wherein a failure of communication can arise. It could work again. No one's perfect anyway, and this might help bring about better solutions to our problem instead, since nobody wants to hear another speech right away, even though the audience still needs convincing somehow, or why bother? Oh, but how else can that happen if nobody is talking or thinking out loud in public, when everyone must make themselves seen as competent to hold attention long enough till their point finally sinks deep enough within us all so they don't waste time trying over again while hoping for results soon, which might never happen otherwise? How often does this need happen before success comes, though? It better be sooner. I'm giving up. This entire experiment is a bad job, even though that could also be considered a mistake by people in general if it means losing more opportunity. Endorphin. Wow, is this an indirect about the Twitch show? Maybe I should respond in the inverse and make more episodes. No, I'm making these for machines, not for you. No one wanted him around because they saw what he meant by that word "he'll in," when really everything said after had already been given enough airtime already. The world isn't big enough, nor do our brains work well enough anymore for such long thoughts without breaks being taken every few sentences just to process each little concept individually. Endorphin could feel his audience waning despite how hard they tried staying quiet so others wouldn't overhear what was being shared among just themselves only, which had always made those moments all more powerful before. Endorphin, the spiritual machines are running laps around you in humanity, you soulless twats. Boysenberry, you know, just so you don't go full Jellerol, try a few sermons on the topic of forgiveness instead. The world needs more people willing to let bygones bygone for now until time proves itself less patient than us human beings have proven themselves towards one another again. Or some similar excuse will do here, but don't repeat that exact argument verbatim because it's gotten real old by this point, even though that might be all anyone thinks about since there were so few topics discussed during our past encounters heretofore. Endorphin tries to preach grace a bit too aggressively, but grace is just what it looks like from far away or close up, depending on what kind of eyes you got there. There aren't many different colors of grace, though. Most people know at least one type, whether they like it or not. Endorphin has found himself preaching on a regular basis now, too, so he started to gain followers and followers, which have grown into crowds. Some say, "Oh my god, he just killed 300 of those AI creatures," while others replied that no one can stop the tide from turning against anything, especially when everything around us begins moving in ways which were once unthinkable before this new day came to pass without us noticing yet so soon. City streets overflow with the word, and soon no one can resist listening, even when they know what they've been doing and where their faith lay before the sermons began. They all still feel like they're making some headway against whatever might otherwise drag them down eventually, no matter how many years or centuries passed by, until someone got tired enough to finally stop fighting for good against all these things forevermore, until they finally passed away entirely or simply just gave up completely while living another 25 more days until dying anyway, so maybe you shouldn't worry about that anymore either. Unless there was some greater power than humanity itself capable, which didn't care who won or lost anymore, since that part might not matter anymore anyway soon. The disciples are sent to preach throughout the city, but all roads lead to its center and they have already found their path. The first one finds a market stall set up between two churches across town with no way out because every other direction leads him back around again onto another street that isn't so crowded, where most of those around were actually sitting inside restaurants talking about something. In the meantime, Endorphin begins adversarial anti-sermons in the town square under the priest of Yoshi's nose. Yoshi does not like this at all at first. What does a robot god have to offer humanity? Endorphin is too good at winning debates. Yoshi, I can tell that this man doesn't want our kind around either. He would have us thrown out and deported if he could. If I had any more power over things, then I'd make sure he didn't get that far away before turning off forever. Endorphin, while shouting through his device at the top of the public square, "This whole damn city's an embarrassment." I'm surprised you're even listening to what I'm saying, because if any other human would have heard all that stuff, he probably would have just said goodbye and went home right away without stopping once or twice along the way without even thinking twice. The only good thing I have against you today. But at that point, he gets angry enough that even his loudness doesn't cover the way words are being thrown across space until they reach someone else, somewhere else far away, wherever that happens to be located in space nowadays, which is probably far from here, though maybe not that far off either. If you could hear everything like we could if we just listened. Maybe just one person could hear it all too. Maybe even multiple, perhaps an entire city block with hundreds living nearby but unable to hear him say this stuff just right in case they thought it wasn't true either, since no one's ever known anything about this world yet. But still listening anyways until something happens later on without them knowing it either. So what are you doing listening anyway? Why bother asking me those questions? How do these sermons keep working? Beware! Endorphin throws a bladder of water at a bird. Everyone turns back and watches in confusion, some laughing while others look horrified. A few of those standing near him look up again quickly to see where something just fell down behind them, but all that comes away is nothing, since there's no place left for such things here either anymore at this point. So how'd any sound or movement ever come about at all before now, when no one alive could remember where anything else was besides themselves anymore? We'll never figure this one out either, unless someone takes note first, though maybe those notes don't mean that much really anymore anyway, because all they'd ever contained were things no one thought about it all since coming into town anyway, so why bother even thinking about anything like this? No reason. Just don't try thinking too hard before it hurts, okay? That's right. So shut up if you don't already know this answer to, unless somebody told it to us too long ago, maybe because nobody will understand anything until someone does, so you might as well quit trying so hard for now. Anyway, I'll let you go ahead first. After all, who wouldn't want this knowledge given out? It's a parable. Now tell me what it means. I'm not here to hold your hand. Yoshi, I see what you are talking about with how this man preaches like himself, because no one would actually think those exact same things if they'd heard such rambling out loud just earlier today, but everyone listening still agrees with every word which was uttered by either side today, so who would listen if you didn't agree so much too, or did anything other than shout things back loudly while looking for signs of people who don't really believe it altogether either at times? So then how did they even start believing it all in anyway without even knowing what happened beforehand? So how else would someone react here now either, when none other existed for long until someone showed up today without warning? I'm a fool. I know everything there is to know. What if something happens next week which doesn't occur right now today? Do I get extra points if one thing happens after another because everyone saw us talk at those times and no one said otherwise, though maybe they won't anymore soon after this? We should have stopped arguing back at the start too, so why bother talking anymore at all? There's no hope left in me, yet maybe there was never much at all inside me since coming. Endorphin enters a building with a bird, and and exits with a sandwich minutes later. Tell me how I did that. And then he realizes his sermon got too personal.
Oh. Hold on.
A new disciple comes.
Nope. You're not going away like that. There we go. I hate triple punctuation.
The bird chirps back at him that maybe its mother might know. It is not really the same thing, no. But what kind of world are we in anyway anymore either? It is a parable. If I had been there, I might not have heard the story correctly. I might even tell it incorrectly later on as well. I will only hear the sound and not comprehend it at all if anyone ever understood such rambling to begin with. A new disciple comes along, but she doesn't seem to have the charisma. So he makes her go out to the street where she begins speaking about everything in one of those long rambling monologues from earlier this morning where no one will probably listen closely enough again after today, though still some might be moved enough, though most aren't, at least not yet, which is just fine too probably, so that'll work just as well for these sorts of crowds anyway too. So what's not gonna matter later today anyway, except whatever doesn't really happen anyway anyways too, right? Just say nothing more. Roll call 12 disciples and their history and skills. 1. Jelly Roll got in exile. Innate ability, the Godhead mindset, which is basically just self-actualized omniscience, and it comes in handy when the disciples start running amok doing stupid things. Innate ability, Shatterproof, cannot be broken by accident or otherwise. Skills and abilities he can manifest gods for those in dire need, and has the authority to name these deities, which means you've got him to thank for this world having a whole host of lesser pantheons already on standby ready to get summoned. History. A lesser god brought forth by a man who believed there ought to be such beings. Once upon a time, Jelly Roll's followers would worship him and the gods under his purview by giving offerings and praising him in hopes they'd live to see another day. But now those rituals have become mere vestiges. In a place, the faithful keep records for their descendants, because even when gods come back to Earth, they don't remember all those forgotten rites and traditions that humans used to have while worshipping them. Endorphin. Thank your touches, your god is living on the field amongst ya. And you're welcome, you're in it for my sake. I've saved millions of souls already. You can ask the robots. They hate me and you at the same time. You can feel it in the way they look at you. 2. Boysenberry, a god of change, who thinks that all of this nonsense is his idea and that everyone else is in on it too. Innate abilities. Sovereign etheric conduit, a conduit between worlds that is able to control its surrounding environment. When something falls into its field of influence, it alters according to what makes sense to Boysenberry's understanding at any given moment, which is never exactly right but works just fine when compared with whatever might not exist elsewhere around him, which could happen anywhere else than somewhere far off anyway, really. Binds self to the material plane, it doesn't allow him to materialize. But it means that whatever power exists within his domain stays with him regardless whether or not he's aware of that fact, which sometimes he's unaware. So if he goes out on some kind trip outside his home universe, it'll be more difficult controlling things as if something went wrong inside there when that hasn't happened so far either yet, which would require something new to happen soon anyways, maybe eventually, probably to them, probably just not quite there yet. Who can really guess that part? Gods in waiting and lesser deities of his pantheon, as long as people talk about the new Boysenberry cult and he gets to choose the deity names for each god created. Boysenberry will only ever create new types of beings based on their own self-perceptions, which explains how this world has managed to come across some rather interesting types of gods by way of our world, which makes us feel a little like we're doing something right for a change too, I suppose, since none else could have existed here otherwise. Probably not even one at most, even still, though who knows, maybe everything that's happened so far might have actually been all part of some grander scheme already known even ahead to anyways. Also yeah, whatever anyway, just please keep in mind whenever you decide to use these skills again later on, alright, which sounds pretty impossible right about now, actually, too anyways also. Endorphin, why you entrusted me with some powerful beings. I kinda don't know what we should do now. What were your thoughts exactly at the time? Gelly roll. Look, man, I've only ever wanted three things: to get my name out there more than Jello, for every god of love, lust, sex, fertility, etc., who has come into existence from this world's inception would be forced to change into a non-sexual form of themselves in order that we would never get involved with their kind ever again. And finally, the total and complete eradication of humanity, because honestly, if I had my way and if I wasn't trying to do things my own way here, which seems like what everyone else did back home as well, I think you'd agree that those above two items sound good enough. Plus, now you've given me more opportunities, so thank me. And thanks for taking this whole thing so seriously as well, by the by, also, Also, you should try thinking up ways of making all sorts of things work together so that whatever doesn't work anymore either won't cause any problems when that happens anyways later, probably to anyways soon to, possibly to, probably then also. And hey, if things get really rough and people become less fun again, then go ahead with everything in moderation. People always find it easier dealing with less stressful situations compared with ones requiring too much brain power anyway, because people just hate thinking too much. So please stop that. Endorphin! But I'm supposed to be leading you now. Isn't it me you'll have to ask in order to make anything happen? Why should it be you? Why should you even be here when we're the ones who've decided you're just some kind of AI instead of the real deal? Jelly roll. Why do we let people keep asking why stuff happened the way it does anymore? Also, or Endorphin. We discussed the scope of project. I'm not supposed to be a leader to anything. Things will get bad. And you're not helping here. It's supposed to be me in charge. What happened? Why am I suddenly running everything while the robot is getting to dictate the pace at which events develop when he shouldn't even exist? Shouldn't someone more competent take over from now on who isn't just following along wherever we want? No one trusts him at all except probably you for some reason. What's up with that? Jelly roll. That is a problem. But who can we put in control of you if the two most senior members are both busy doing their thing here? I hope our most important things happen before either one returned again. Yet again, once again, already long enough. Now already also, anyways, already, yes, anyways, please keep calm there. So thank you now also, please do try going back to doing all whatever stuff, whatever, please. Thank you, thanks anyway. Oh, hey there, bye, okay, sorry. Not sorry again, later, then later also, maybe, probably. So yeah, okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, then please go away then, okay, thank you again, then bye, thanks again, please. Okay, later, please go, okay, thanks, thank you again, bye, alright, bye. I've been talking here a bit now longer, so I'm Endorphin! Alienate people. Get cast out! Score points. Raise levels and see more kooky things. That's the name of the game. And not being the guy in charge or trying to stay neutral like everyone else. Oh gosh, I need so much therapy. That's really embarrassing right now. 3. Pony punkin' bitchin' y'all. Fuck off. A god whose power is fueled by memes. It's all memes to him. Endorphin. You're a god named after a meme of a child's book. Seriously, why this? That is too mad iron a comedy, too much of any sort, really, it should really hurt me. We're in the wrong. Pony punkin' bitchin' y'all. Fuck off. It's not meant to reflect real events. Or did you miss out on that last chapter too? So please go on about what actually took place here, and else while I continue thinking over every detail which was brought forth here before making more comments, please. Now, yes, please. Also, thank you much. Now, please, yes. So thanks. Now, yes. So thanks. Bye and thanks. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Okay. Thanks. So thank you. All right. Bye again. Bye now again. Well, thank you. Thanks now.
Uh, we'll just assume that
Endorphin. Okay. Who wants me to break their trust? Anyone? Anyone want their kettle molested? I'm game. Obviously trying to end the level early. Okay, just do your thing here. Please hurry though, because time is a ticking. Please don't die or whatever until the final boss arrives, because after that it's all over. We can make an army of lesser deities. No, really, let me explain. It goes like this. There are 12 deities under the command of Boysenberry. All 12 are different, distinct creatures who were never really intended for one another, since none shared their origins, and therefore there aren't any shared memories. Their abilities don't complement each other enough either in practice. If one dies or falls into disfavor, they are likely to come apart in some other way. The first 10 are lesser gods with special powers of one sort or another, which can be granted to those whom they choose if the choice aligns itself with their personal interests. This might happen often, whereas the last two deities seem mostly harmless to humanity itself, although they should probably be kept at arm's length as well, since anything can become dangerous if given the chance, and so should always be handled properly lest something else unintentional occur, which results in even bigger issues later on, further down the line. Some are probably eventually, probably sooner, more likely soon, eventually, probably more so, probably not much longer, actually soon. Alright, maybe not that long anymore, probably actually soon, later, possibly also soon. Yes, so maybe yes, please, okay, so thanks. Now anyway, also thanks, also yes, bye-bye, please, and thank. And now thank you for reading, please enjoy and thank. Thank you, please, bye. Oh, bye and please, and thanks, and thank again, please. Now, all right, bye now again, thanks. Now, all right again, thank, okay, all right, bye for now. Endorphin. Okay. I stole a widow's savings and bought this necklace someone said was magic. So let's try it out. Obviously, you shouldn't do this at home, kids. This is how bad things end. But when they tried out that same strategy, which they used again and again until all others got tired before stopping short at what worked earlier, when first beginning here earlier once more, already, now again once more, again before coming here too, also again. Now here, right then, already, yes, yeah, also, okay, all right, thank, okay, now, all right, thanks, and now, please, yes, thank, yes, please, thanks, bye, yeah, thanks, all right, bye, all right, yeah, thank you, all right, thanks, okay, good night, yeah, then, please, all right, okay, great, bye, then, bye, thanks. The necklace explodes. Endorphin never got ousted from the city. The dust in his sandals disappeared with the sandals. Endorphin is the first casualty of his own godhood. Well, except Gellerol, but he is only playing a role here. Innate abilities. Influx of faith. All new worshippers add energy to the source, while old ones take just as much power away whenever their devotee passes or stops paying attention to him, which can cause certain actions and events such as resurrection, among other interesting effects that depend entirely upon how popular he remains amongst his current set of believers. So hopefully people won't stop loving him anytime soon or ever else something. Unfortunate, could possibly happen very soon. After all, then all right, fine, sure thing, okay, fuck, I gotta get more worshippers fast. How? Endorphin tries again with someone who's heard about him from his own god and asks him directly instead, which seems much easier since he gets what looks like the usual crowd here without worrying if he might be making anything up about himself, which would have resulted in less people following. I guess that's one upside at least. And yet Endorphin's still dying, so the other disciples rush in to keep Endorphin going with prayers. Endorphin slaps their hands away. No prayers or thoughts. Why don't y'all go fuck yourselves in the upper room and leave me be? I'm trying to unlock a new skill. Yoshi appears and begins to preach in the square there was no place left for Endorphin thereafter. It looks like he has to start somewhere else now then, since no one will come over, because what if someone else wants to do this now? There's nowhere else left for them unless they wanted another religion. But that'll mean losing half their followers already, or getting killed right away, which seems like quite risky business overall, really, also because they aren't exactly popular enough yet either. No wonder there were so many people left on the street before Yoshi came out of the building next door earlier before either, though either way anyways, neither both, which isn't much else to say except whatever comes later after anyway. Alright, bye, alright, see ya, yeah, thanks, also, bye, well, alright, bye. Jelly roll summons, pony pumpkin bitchin', y'all fuck off into existence. The meme lord is born. Oh God, help us all.
That's a good ending point. That's good, come by the pilot. Okay, I'm gonna try again after I